Thank you for joining us. If you're just joining, you're still on the Polity, reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja. And now we've been joined by Fine Face in Sikak, a public analyst, of course, to analyze most of the recent happenings in the Polity. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. It's good to see you once again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, very, very long time.
So it's safe to actually ask you, how has the country been treating you?
Well, for me, it's always been the same, but I think it's not really been rosy for Nigerians recently. Yeah. I mean, considering they took off the fuel subsidy, prices has gone up, inflation here and there, and a lot of things happening. Insecurity as well, still biting hard. So a lot of issues. Jobs have not been created. I mean, a new government came in on the 29th of May, but then Nigerians expected maybe somehow to hit the ground running, but I think it's been the same issues, same kind of issues, no jobs, no stable power supply, no jobs, insecurity as well. So I think it's just as if we are just turning around the same circle so I think it's...
But some Nigerians have said is probably bearing the brunt of what happened during the past administration, that you can totally rule out the fact that it was ruined by that administration. Do you affirm to that? The past administration, I think it was also they were members of the APC. But now it looks like APC is pointing fingers to APC saying, they caused it. The blame has to be on the APC. I mean, I can still remember their campaign promises. In 2015, we will build 5 refineries, we'll give student loans, we'll crush insecurity in about 6 months. Where are we today? Where are the refineries? How do you explain that a major oil-producing nation, not just in Africa, but in the world, doesn't have a functional refinery? Even the one that was built is privately owned. And it's not even functional. It's been said that they'll start operations in 2025. So there's a whole lot. So APC can't blame APC. Yeah, the blame has to be on the APC. Yeah, they started this in 2015. I mean, I remember how they were hot on the PDP. But if you put it side by side, 16 years of PDP and what the APC, what they're doing now, just 8 years.
The difference is clear. Like, you don't even need someone to explain. I mean, look at in the aspect of even obeying the law, following the rule of law. PDP were not this. I mean, these days people come out and defend whatever they want to defend. But under the PDP, I mean, you could see that they strictly adhered to the law. But now, Nigerians are, you see Nigerians these days brag on social media to say, oh, it's a lawless country. No, but that's not what we want. We want a country where our leaders would lead by example. How do you lead by example? First of all, you have to respect the law. Any leader who doesn't respect the law lacks their capability, lacks the competence, lacks the experience to lead in this country. And I feel like most of the issues we have today is centered around that. We don't obey what the law says. So why do we now have laws as a nation? And then we have a new generation coming up, and they are watching. So it just I kind of feel like it makes me I begin to wonder what the future holds for us, because from the day I was born till today, it's been the same issues: bad road, no power supply, bad healthcare is in shambles, education, oh my God. From then, and they kept on saying, you guys are the leaders of tomorrow. But
it cannot be as bad as the level of insecurity we have right now, because I mean, insecurity was something then, and there was respect for rule of law. Before you came in the studio, we're talking about respect for the rule of law, where the Bayelsa State APC governorship candidate has outrightly come out to say, the Abuja High Court ruled not in his favor, and he said, the supporters should keep supporting him. And begs the question, what miracle is going to happen between now and that day? I mean, the mock accreditation is tomorrow for most of the states, and it begs the question, is that really respect for rule of law? One, what miracle is he expecting to happen? Because the court has outrightly said, no, you cannot be the candidate. But then the candidate is saying, oh, my followers, I want you to push through. What's going on?
Well, the truth is this, I really want to blame the candidate. First of all, you've been sworn in as governor twice. And what does the Constitution say? You can't be sworn in three times. So he should have done his background study.
Yeah.
What were his lawyers doing? Or they felt they were going to exploit some loopholes in the Constitution or whatever. But then, like I've said, he's a member of the APC, and with them, miracles do happen. You could just see things begin to change. But then, until we begin to respect the rule of law. I don't think there's no way any country where the rule of law is not respected. You can check it anywhere. They don't make progress, and that's one of the major reasons why we are where we are today. Because someone could even find his way into a particular office, and then when the court rules, you see them try to twist things over and over and over. I mean, these things are there. They are well spelled out about certain things in a build up to an election. So how do you explain that a man has been sworn in twice, and then he's seeking re-election? Yeah, I know he didn't complete his tenure and all those kind, but then the law is the law. So I expected that he should have done his own work. Speak with your lawyers, and then just know when to step aside. Because look, the court actually gave their ruling. So just like you said, what do you expect to do? What's your plan? What's your plan? Why are you telling your supporters? It's the law remains. You cannot change the law. It's just like saying the truth. No matter how you try to hide the truth, it will always come out. It's just like a pregnant woman who tries to cover she's pregnant when it's about 7 months old. You're wasting your time. That's how the law is, and that's how the truth is. So they can decide to pretend about the law, dance around it, but hey, the law will always have its course.
But then it brings me to my next question. Do you think the ruling All Progressives Congress Party are arrogant with governing the people right now?
I wouldn't say they are arrogant, but I just feel like they've gotten into power. I remember how they muscled power away from the PDP in 2015.
Yes.
And they've seen the power behind being in power. You know, there's power in power.
Yes.
Yeah, so they got in there, felt the power of being in power. So they just feel like, look, we're not going to relinquish this. We just, I mean, I hear some of their supporters brag and say, look, we're going to rule 30 years, 36. But then the PDP were also that bold back then. I could remember, but they couldn't believe what played out in 2015. So now the thing is this: the power is with the people. Nigerians are fully awake. Nigerians are following the proceedings when it comes to leadership now in the nation. Nigerians actually want to have a say. Yes, some Nigerians feel like their voices
are not being heard.
Weren't heard during the last election because of how things play. But Nigerians are not resting. They are still demanding for things to be done the right. Now, look, I usually tell people that when it comes to investigation, Nigerians are the best in the world. They can investigate you. Yes, investigate your past, bring out records and all that.
Investigation again, because as a journalist, you have to fact check. Now, there are too many stories flying around, and it's going to bring me to my next question, which is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's certificates. I'd like to get your view before we delve deep into this said certificates. What's your view on that allegation that has been going? Of course, we've seen press conferences and all of that. So I'd like to just get your general.
Well, we followed this issue from the beginning, and we've been paying attention to how things are playing out, and we even heard reports from the Chicago State University and all that. Like I said, the truth remains the truth. If you try to cover it, it's temporal, it's for a particular time, but the truth will always expose itself. So for me, the whole certificate saga, some people say it's this, it's not this and all that, leave it to time. Just leave it to time. With time, the truth will actually play out on its own.
Speaking about truth playing out, I like that angle you brought it from, because now I'm going to synergize it with what we're talking about before, the rule of law. Of course, we had the guest yesterday on the program, and they said we don't even know which is which again, because INEC brings this and say, oh, this is what we're going to do, and then next thing the court tells you, oh, it was a promise, it wasn't part of the constitution. And then you see one ruling in one part of the country, let's say a particular state, and then the judge is telling you, oh, this is pre-election matters, and then in another state you see where the court is saying, oh, this person has been cancelled as this thing, which is supposedly pre-election matters, and the court is not actually supposed to delve into anything pre-election matters, correct? But then, if you say the truth will play out, if the truth plays out, will the judge or the judiciary, will they be bold enough to actually question all of these things? And let's not forget, as of yesterday's, we've heard rumor about, not rumor, the video surfaced online about some of the senators calling the Senate president to check, saying he's just been stamping every and anything without passing through the Senate House, which begs a lot of questions.
Yeah, what Nigerians were actually afraid of was a rubber stamp Senate, but it's exactly what Nigerians were praying against. I mean, you saw the previous Senate, how things played out. It was like a rubber stamped. I think the only time we really had a Senate that really gave the government a tough time was under Saraki. His Excellency Bukola Saraki. I mean, you saw how he carried out his responsibilities and all that. But I think it is what it is. Under the PDP, we saw these things play out under David Mark and all that.
And
it
all
was
of that
just things, you know. So it's been the way of doing things. It's been the tradition and all that. But I think going forward as a nation, considering where we are today, we need a Senate that will be independent. But then how do you talk about a Senate that is independent when even the Senate president was even dancing around the president in order to be able to secure his position? So everyone is working for their own selfish interest. Until we have leaders who think about Nigeria and Nigerians, that's when we make progress. What exactly is democracy? Government of the people, for the people, by the people. So if we do, now, like I've always said, governance is about the people. Any leader who comes in and decides to focus on himself, his tribe, his religion, his family and his friends has failed. But that's what we see today in Nigeria. Yeah. So until we move from that, you know, until I want to see a Senate president who would come in and say, look, I'm here to serve Nigerians. So whether your party brings up some kind of, you put it down and say, no, we're not going to attend to this. Yeah, because this is anti-Nigeria. It's going to work against Nigeria. So that's what we want to see. That is the Nigeria of our dreams. But we've been waiting since we were born till now. We are still waiting.
But don't you think the Bukola Saraki regime was because he was from the PDP and then the sitting party?
Godswill Akpabio is from the PDP. He was governor of the PDP for good 8 years. Yes, he brought about a lot of transformation and all that, but he was of the PDP. Most of the people you see in the APC today, they were in the PDP. A lot of them, they were in the PDP. I mean, the Minister of Works, Umahi, almost all of them. So
do you even actually think being independent can work in Nigeria? Because speaking about independence reminds me of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and then there's been questions about the previous elections, and even the next election happening. And when you say all eyes on the judiciary, now some persons have moved it to all eyes on INEC because of course we don't know what to expect anymore. We don't know which is constitutional and we don't know which one is promised now, because they would actually come out and say, oh, we are going to transmit results in real time. What does this mean for Nigeria? Do you think being independent is the way forward, or actually have people that can be held accountable, people that have integrity to say, yes, I would want to serve the people, not my selfish interest? I
think it's been shown over time that the name being independent is just like a ceremonial stuff. Yeah, I mean, you saw what INEC did, and Nigerians have been asking a lot of questions, and I feel like this is an opportunity for INEC to redeem their image in some of these elections. But the truth is this: Nigerians are not interested in the process anymore because of how things played out during the last elections. I mean, you saw violence in some states, people beating up people, threatening people. How do you threaten me in my own country? You are not more Nigerian than I am. We own Nigeria. We are all Nigerians. Mercy, you are a Nigerian, you have equal rights the same as I do. But how do you explain that I come out in my state to vote and you're telling me if you're not going to vote for my party, you go away? And we have INEC officials there, we have security. So I think, you know, INEC really needs to wake up and redeem itself. If you're going to transmit results, stand by it. You don't need to play back and forth, because now Nigerians have actually lost confidence in the process. And it's going to take them a whole lot to redeem, you know, to be able to save their name. Yeah, so I feel like the next elections coming up, Nigerians are not really involved. I mean, I saw news about reports that voters turn out. Because
it is 5 million.
Nigerians are not interested anymore, because if the process is not going to be credible, why do I need to?
But then how do you get your mandate if you are actually going to just give up just one time? I mean, we reported lots of voter apathy after the presidential election, and in fact, some polling units didn't even open at some point. But then that's not the way forward. If you want something, and like the president Tinubu has said, power is not given, it's taken.
No, Mercy, people remember that people need to stay alive first. We are not some kind of robots that you feel like, okay, even if something happens, I'll still be alive. No, you have just one life. So Nigerians prefer to just save their lives first of all. Yeah, elections will come and go, but if you're gone, you're gone. I mean, do they even talk about the Nigerians that lost their lives during the last elections? No one is talking about them anymore. So that's why I said, you know, INEC, they need to wake up. It's, you're there to serve Nigerians. So put it in clear terms. Are you going to transmit results through electrical? You know, put it there. You're going to use the electronic means. You need to put it there, but not like what they did before. They said the results would be transmitted in real time and this and that. And then you saw how things played out in the court. So Nigerians don't want that. For me, I feel like Nigerians are saying if the process is not going to be credible, then I don't have any business. It's just like I have exams in school, and I know that half of the class have already seen the question. They've already written the exams behind, and then you're telling me to come on the day of the exams. I'm not going to write. I won't. Yeah, because I mean, I could end up, people they've already seen the result. So the question, so they could graduate with A's and all that. So how about the other people that didn't have access? And that's what elections are beginning to look like now. So Nigerians want credibility. Like I said something before, Nigerians do not have a problem with a particular leader, but Nigerians have a problem with the process that brought you in. I said, if the APC now begins to provide jobs for Nigerians, 24-hour power supply, security, they begin to fix our universities and all that. Trust me, Esther, Mercy, the whole nation will come behind them. So Nigerians don't have a problem whether you're PDP, APC. Nigerians want development. Nigerians don't want to japa again. You understand? Nigerians are tired of the whole jackpot thing, so they want you to make it look like Dubai. Fix it. Our educational system should look like what we have in the UK. So Nigerians in the UK can come back and say, okay, I can comfortably study in my country. So all Nigerians want is just development. But how do you explain that we've been battling same issues from when we gained independence till today?
Speaking about battling issues, something came up yesterday with the CBN where we've said there's mixed reactions where they lifted a ban on rice, cement, toothpick, and 40 other raw materials. I don't know. That some persons have said it would actually improve the economy and all of that, instead of having to import and struggle to that. Of course, before it was mandated that we use whatever we have in Nigeria, but now that the ban has been lifted, what do you think might change on the economy aspect?
Well, look, when it comes to our economy, I think a whole lot is happening, and for me, I feel like we really do not have people that have that know-how in order to fix the economy. Yeah, so I think it's beyond lifting ban. Yeah, maybe you could say it's a starting point, but there's work to be done. There's a whole lot. Because look at the exchange rate, for instance. How much is $1 to Naira today? They're talking about 1,000 and upwards, and so there's a lot of work to be done. Yeah, it's okay to leave the ban and all that. It's fine, but I think that's just one aspect. It's just a minor aspect of it. There's a lot of work, and I always feel that we do not have people who clearly understand the demands of holding a particular office. Why? Because some appointment isn't based on competence. I'm sorry, it looks like it's based on a reward system. You worked for me when I was campaigning, so I got in now and then. So we don't want that. Look, we have competent Nigerians in Nigeria scattered around, even in the diaspora. So I feel like there's a whole lot. We need help when it comes to economy. So I think we could bring in people, the likes of Okonjo Iweala. I mean, she has the experience. You could bring in other Nigerians, reason out together, brainstorm and find a solution. Because look, Nigeria, we need to be fixed, and to fix Nigeria, it has to be urgent, because you see where we are today. So I just feel like, yeah, you've lifted the ban. It's just one of those things. There's a whole lot to be done.
Fixed. Speaking about a whole lot that needs to be done, I'm going to bring us back to INEC and, of course, the shenanigans. President Tinubu, of course, submitted a particular result before elections. And now, do you think the issue certificate the INEC displayed before the presidential candidate was for the party to verify? Now, why is your position bringing the case now? Especially given that, of course, we finished with the first court and now we're moving to the Supreme Court. I think 2 weeks back we had a lawyer analyze most of this for us and said in some instances the Supreme Court would actually allow them tender these certificates, and of course there's been lots of back and forth, Chicago coming out to say, oh, this and that. But then, what's your own take on this?
Mercy, the thing is, there's no particular time. There's no particular time frame that says, okay, you can. Once someone discovers that there's something something implicating about you as a person, maybe you're occupying an office, a governor, a senator, House of Reps, president, they can tender it, and at any time, anything, so I think it just boils down to how sincere people are. Look, because if there's a question mark on your character as a person or your personality, people will always find a way to bring it out. Yes, people will always, because there's always someone who knows someone who knows someone that knows something about you. Yeah, so that's where we are today. So people say, I've heard Nigerians say, the Supreme Court will not, they won't give you the privilege to tender. You're not the court. So I think Nigerians just need to relax. Like I've said, the thing about the truth is you can't cover the truth forever. So we're going to follow the whole certificate stuff and see how things are going to play out. But the fear of Nigerians is the fact that I think from the ruling, the first ruling from the tribunal, Nigerians didn't really accept the ruling. They felt like, just like you said, I mean, you see different court rulings coming from different states, and they are almost the same kind of issues.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
contradicting court verdict.
Yeah, so that's it. So that's the only fear Nigerians have. But then it's the Supreme Court. I think we just need to keep our fingers crossed and see how things are going to play out, because this would basically set the pace for a new Nigeria. Yeah, either a new Nigeria where we respect the rule of law, or a new Nigeria where the law doesn't count. It will end in a new Nigeria where there's respect for rule of law, where things are done the right way, or a new Nigeria where basically some people feel like they are bigger than the law, and you know what that means.
Speaking about being bigger than the law, it looks like most of the other parties that contested during the last election are seeking for unification. But is that something that is supposed to be so? Because of course, Labour Party have come out, they've outrightly come out to say, don't drag Peter Obi into your case. That's them addressing PDP, of course. But PDP feels like, oh, the united we stand, the stronger we can become. But then Peter Obi is outrightly saying, leave me out of yours, fight your battle, let me fight my battle. Do you think them coming together would make them stronger or a bigger force or something?
Well, if I take your mind back to 2015, they had to come together to join forces, and they formed the APC. You're saying today, yeah, we had a lot of parties there. I think the AC, the CPC, and some other political parties came together. Yeah, a part of ABGA joined. Yes, so coming together, if the idea and your vision is all about rescuing Nigeria and Nigerians, and ensuring that there's real change, not the kind of change the APC preached in 2015, where we didn't see nothing happening. If their motive is to be able to, liberate the nation, ensure that we do things properly, ensure that the rule of law is well respected, why not? I think it's okay for people to come together and see how to do it, because I mean, the APC people came together in 2015 and collected power from the PDP, just like you quoted your president, that power is not given, it's taken. And they came together and took power over. So why not? If it means joining forces in order to liberate the nation, to bring an end to insecurity and all that, why not? I think there's nothing bad there. It's a commendable idea, and why not? But I'm not a member of any political party, so I'm just speaking from the standpoint of a Nigerian. I'm not here, but if it means them coming together, why not? I think it would make sense for Nigeria, as long as their intentions
are pure.
Yes, because I mean, we saw this in 2015. How do you explain that people that protested against the removal of fuel subsidy in 2012 came back to support the removal of fuel subsidy in 2023? It talks about their intentions, and some of them came out to apologize and say, okay, we're sorry, we did this in 2012. You saw that report from the former governor of Ekiti State. So if your intentions are pure, if your intentions is based on liberating the nation, because Nigerians need help as we speak now. Yes, Nigerians are in need of real help. Mercy, how do you explain that Nigerians in Nigeria basically live in IDP camps? How do you explain that? I think it's sad.
It's sad, yeah.
Just think about it. You're in your country, but you're living like a refugee, like you're living in an IDP camp. So Nigerians need help, and then we need leaders who would think about Nigeria and Nigerians.
Speaking about leaders, I would think, what do you think? It's past 100 days for President Tinubu, and some persons have said, oh, give it time. All of this would take time, and he hasn't done 1 year. So some persons are saying, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Some persons are saying, oh, Nigeria needs a quick fix. But then, speaking about Nigeria needing a quick fix, let's talk about how we are perceived on the international scene right now, given the issue of this certificate that is going on right now. Do you think all of this would actually raise question marks for every certificate we present outside Nigeria, because as it stands already, there are some certificates, there are some school certificates that they can't even tender outside the country already as it stands. But now with this current issue, what do you think that would say for Nigeria?
Well, I can't really say it's going to raise question mark, because I mean we are yet to get to the conclusion of this, and
yes,
it behoves on the Supreme Court. That's what I said.
Yeah.
From their ruling, Nigerians will be able to know two things: if we're going to stick and respect the rule of law, or if we're going to live in a country where we have no respect for the law. So I wouldn't say, I've seen reports, but before now, there's always been this question mark about Nigerians abroad, in the diaspora and all that. So I think it's been there all this while. But then, based on the investigations that will be carried out, that's when Nigerians will now begin to live with the new normal, because that's when you now see some countries beginning to put their spotlight on Nigerians, your certificate, your qualification and things like that. And for me, I think it's going to really be sad, because even innocent Nigerians will be affected. But then we just have to wait for the Supreme Court. We've heard from the Chicago State University, we've heard from the people who went to file Atiku Abubakar and all that. He even had a press conference and all that. But now it behoves on the Supreme Court.
And then nobody has even seen the real result that was gotten from Chicago, from the PDP.
Yeah, nobody has seen.
Nobody has seen it.
So we just have to wait for the Supreme Court, and then whatever ruling they give, like I said, it will set the pace for a new Nigeria, either a lawless nation or a nation where we have respect for the rule of law. So that's and
then not just the respect for the rule of law, not compromising the rule of law. Can they be compromised?
Of course.
Okay, now let's talk about something that is in every paper this morning, and I'll take this from Daily Trust, where it says Tinubu breaches law on Olukoyede's appointment as EFCC chairman. We've had antecedents of EFCC chairman even being the one to embezzle money themselves. I mean, we see Bawa in the custody right now, and let's not even talk about the previous people that were there before him. But then, what exactly went wrong with these appointments?
Well, before I go into this, I'll take your mind back to when President Muhammadu Buhari came in. He appointed someone as the controller of customs who wasn't in the system, a retired military personnel. Yeah, so I think for the APC, anything is possible. I mean, you have someone who serves as the minister of the FCT, who's from the other party, who's from the opposition. Yeah, so talking about the EFCC now, it's kind of contradicting, because there's a whole lot have been said. In fact, the presidency came out today to say that he's fully qualified.
They said no law without violence.
Now, but what does the law say? It says that the law actually stipulates that a chairman of the commission must be a serving or retired member of any government security or law enforcement agency, not below the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police or equivalent, and must possess not less than 15 years experience. You've heard that. Now, there's also another part of it that says provision of the EFCC Establishment Act 2004. It says that any member of the commission, whether serving or retired, who is 15 years cognate experience in their chosen career are eligible to be appointed as the chairman of the commission. Now, the new chairman is actually a lawyer, and he's practiced for over 20 years. He was appointed in the EFCC, I think, in 2018 or so, when he served as in 2016 as the chief of staff between 2016 and 2018, and then he later became the secretary between 2018 and 2022. So, is there any experience? Has he served in any law enforcement agency? No. Did he actually rise to even the level of maybe equivalent of an assistant commissioner of police? No. So that's the law. But then they are arguing that he's had the experience. I mean, he's been there, maybe he's practiced law for 20 years, and he's been in the EFCC because he's practiced some law that has to do with financial crimes, fraud and things like that. Yes, you can't write off his experience, but then the law states that, you know, anybody who is to be appointed as chairman of the commission must be a serving or retired member of any government security or law enforcement agency, not below the rank of the assistant commissioner of police or its equivalent. And
maybe being a lawyer in the past 20 years is equivalent.
But then, you heard what the law says.
Yeah.
I mean, so the law has to be the law. You know, so I just feel like, well, maybe Mr. President feels like because of his experience
and his rather background with the EFCC.
Yes,
also.
and all that. And then his held positions, just like you said, Chief of Staff. But then he was actually suspended with the former EFCC chairman, that's a Magu back then. He was actually, yes.
But then what if it's a suspension based on the fact that, oh, you worked under this person? We saw the case of NNPC where 70 people were, of course, cleared. And now we still have Mili Kyari, it's still the 7th MD of NNPC.
Yeah, so, but it doesn't rule out the fact that he was actually suspended. And then, yeah, he found his way back and, you know, the whole back and forth and all that. But I think the EFCC, we can talk about the law. And then if you talk about the law, one of the places you focus on is the EFCC. So if you don't adhere to the law there, if you don't do things in accordance with the law at the EFCC, then there's a problem. For me personally, I feel like the last time we had a chairman of the EFCC that was absolutely effective was in the days of Ribadu. I mean, you saw how he carried out. Yeah, I mean, you saw the things he did and all that. But after that time, we've had EFCC chairmen with question mark on their personality. I mean, you saw what happened to Magu. The previous one now, he's still, I mean, Bawa is still under detention. We've not heard anything and all that. So it just leaves Nigerians wondering, how do you explain that a commission whose major duty is to fight corruption is now being, you know, I mean, you saw the back and forth that happened between Bawa and the former governor of I think Zamfara State. And it's something that is absurd. Let me use that word, because how do you explain that a commission whose major duty is to be able to, you know, probe people that commit financial crimes, you now find some of their chairmen being, you know,
they've been compromised and they can't talk and all of that.
Yeah, so I think it's really, it goes to show the state of our nation. That's why I said we actually need help in Nigeria, but the help we need is going to come from within. And how do we need that help? We need a mindset change. If his appointment is not in accordance with what the law says, there's no need appointing him. That's what I think. If it's not in accordance with the law, there's no need. Because I mean, if people keep on saying things like this, Nigerians will just feel like, okay, I mean, I've seen Nigerians say the law doesn't work, there's no law in Nigeria, forget about it. And you know, that's not the country we want. We do not want a lawless nation. So if his appointment, we've read what the law states, and I mean, he's not had any experience. No, we did police, civil defense, navy, army, none. Like, he's not served there. So how then do you explain to Nigerians that he found his way? Okay, I mean, we have, okay, so that means we have lawyers who actually studied maybe financial crimes, fraud and all that. So it means if I'm a lawyer and I've studied for 20 years and maybe I've worked in the EFCC for maybe 10 years, I can actually get appointed as well. But then, so that's you now maybe relegating the law and just doing things your way. But like I started this analysis, I took your mind back to 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari appointed the former Controller General of the Customs. He wasn't in the service, he wasn't in the system, he just brought. So for me, with the APC, miracles can happen.
Speaking about miracles can happen, as we round up, because time is flying really, I'd like you to talk about President Tinubu's ministerial appointment, and not just that appointment, most of the appointment that has happened. Do you think there's fair representation of its regions, and not just in regions, inclusion? And of course, most persons have said, oh, with this administration, you've seen where we have some youth not like this thing, but I always say we don't settle for less, we're not mediocres here. What's your take on that?
Well, for me, some of the appointments, or the appointment basically wasn't really based on competence for me. Okay. It was a way of rewarding people who worked during the elections. I mean, you see the likes of the Minister of Aviation now. He was minister under the former administration. Are you trying to say we don't have people from Delta State who's not been in the corridors of power that can come in and do a good job? We do, whether in Nigeria or in the diaspora. So how do you keep on appointing and reappointing the same people and you think Nigeria is going to work? It's not going to work. You can't keep on doing the same thing and you expect a different result. I mean, these were people that somehow failed with the previous administration. for 8 years. Yes, you can't rule that out. They failed because all of their promises, we didn't see anyone come to pass. Yeah, I've always been one who I usually give credit to President Muhammadu Buhari, because he came in and somehow picked up from where the former president left, Goodluck Jonathan. I mean, look at, for instance, the airport renovations and things, some of the railways, roads. Yeah, I commend him for that, because it shows that there was continuity. Because in our nation, when a new man comes, he dumps what the old man did and starts afresh. But I commend President Muhammadu. But then, if you look at some of the members of his cabinet, how well did they perform? Some basically did nothing. And that's why we are where we are today. So how do you now keep on reinforcing the same people, bringing the same people? I mean, you have people that have been in the corridors of power for years. I mean, look at the secretary to the state government, federal government, for instance. He was the governor of Benue State. From there, he became senator. After that, in the last dispensation, he was a minister. So, governor 8 years, senator, minister, now SGF. Are you trying to say that we do not have capable people in Benue? No. So, yes, he came in May. So far, it's been the same issues. Nothing has basically changed. And Nigerians felt like the removal of fuel subsidy was going to be the game changer. But it's now becoming a problem. Like I've always said, oil is supposed to be a major source of blessing for our nation. Look at the likes of Dubai. Look at the transformation. Yeah, I was somewhere and the other day someone was saying, you can't compare Dubai to Nigeria. I said, look, bring the people in Dubai here and take us from here to Dubai. You see that Dubai will crumble and Nigeria will stand. It will rise. You begin to see, because it's about the mindset. That's why I said we need a mindset change. You can't keep on doing the same thing over. If these people have actually failed for the past 8 years, keep them aside. We have capable Nigerians. We have, even in Nigeria, we have Nigerians that have the knowledge, they have the technical know-how, they have the ability to be able to deliver. Why not bring them in? Because we are all working for the same purpose, for Nigeria. Supposedly. Yeah, for Nigeria to grow, for Nigerians to enjoy. Mercy, Nigerians have never enjoyed Nigeria before. Never. You talk about power supply. You close from work and you're praying, oh God, as I get home, let me meet light at home. Yes, every Nigerian, even the rich, pray that prayer because they don't want to hear the sound from their generator. Yeah, because the inverter battery can't last beyond 3 hours. So they are praying. How do you survive in such a nation? That you're traveling by road and you say, oh, Lord, as I'm going, please, may we not meet kidnappers on the road or armed robbers. No, we want a nation that I can comfortably travel by road and I know I'm safe. Yeah. I want a nation where as I'm going home, I know there will be power supply. I don't need to worry about carrying power bank all around and all that. That is the, but so far, I've not seen that. Nothing has basically changed. And I think it's worrisome. And Nigerians are now beginning to ask questions. Because, I mean, you came in, fuel subsidy was taken off, and we felt like, okay, you're going to invest. Okay, where is the money from? And now we are hearing conflicting reports as well that subsidy is still being paid. And then, so I think there's a whole lot of issues going on. And all Nigerians want is clarity, deliver. You came on a mandate, renewed hope. Renew that hope. That's what Nigerians want. Renew it. Renew the hope in our educational sector. Renew the hope in our health sector. Renew the hope in terms of insecurity. Renew the hope in terms of job creations. These days, you see, there are no jobs. It's only the job you get is based on
who you know.
Yeah, so that is it. But that's not the nation we want. I want a nation where a son of nobody can rise to become a governor. And we say, yes, nobody was behind him. It was Nigerians pushing him. You want a nation where the son of a nobody can get a job in NNPC without knowing nobody. That's the kind of nation we want. I don't need to know someone that knows someone before I can get a job. No, I should be able to get a job based on my qualifications and my ability to perform. But these days, people who have the ability to perform are relegated to the back, and then people who they don't even have the capacity are being celebrated. But that's not the nation we want. So for me, Mr. President needs to fix the nation. He needs to. The whole fuel subsidy removal issue, they need to settle down and fix it. If you're going to put back and start paying subsidy, let Nigerians know. Reduce the price of fuel. Because how do you think about people that are doing businesses? You couldn't provide jobs for them. They had to set up their businesses. There's no power supply. They are running on generator. How do you expect them to buy fuel? So if you're going to pay back subsidy, bring it back. After all, Kenya did that. They brought back subsidy. So there's nothing that, look, there's no harm in trying and fail. There's a quote that says, on your way to success, you pass through failure. So if you took off subsidy and it didn't work, it looked like you failed. Fine, Nigerians are going to say things, but then bring it back. Reduce the price of fuel to where it was, or 200. And then let Nigerians try to build up from there. So for me, there's no time. There is no time. People that say give us time. No, we've been giving you time from 1960. Yes, listen, you've given time over and there's no time. You have to perform because Nigerians are yearning for real change, not the kind of change that was preached in 2015. No, Nigerians want real change.
Thank you very much, Fine Face. And Sikak, it's always insightful analysis with you on the program, and you would have you after the mock accreditation, of course, to see what has happened in these 3 major states, because it looks like Kogi State is hot, and we have one part of Bayelsa saying, oh, they don't care about what the High Court has said, and of course, Imo State governor has come out to say if he wins the next election, he's going to send people abroad and not fix. Well,
no, I don't.
Let's not get into that right now. Thank you very much, my face.
Thank you very much.
All right, do have a great weekend. And our viewers at home, this is where we draw the curtain for the Polity and Week in Review for today. And this week, of course, thank you to our producers, thank you to our MCR guys, and of course, everyone that has ensured that the Polity this week is a success. I remain Messi Babajide. See you same time, same station next week. Bye.